Welcome to Maximize Life, the television broadcast from New Wine Church, London. Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. Our mandate is to challenge you to be all you can be. So get ready to be encouraged, enriched, and empowered. You will never be the same again. Now here is your host, Pastor Michael Olawore.
Welcome to another edition of Maximize Life. I am Michael Olawore, your host and the senior pastor of New Wine Church in Woolwich, London. Today we are looking at another life-transforming message by Dr. Tayo Adeyemi, the founding pastor of New Wine Church, London, and my spiritual father, who has gone home to be with the Lord. Today's message is titled, Turn Your Power into Influence, Part 2. I'm sure it will encourage you, it will enrich you, and without fail, it will empower you. Stay tuned.
Just to help you better understand this whole power influence dynamic, let me give you very quickly 7 contrasts between power and influence. 7 contrasts between power and influence. 7 ways that power and influence are different. Number 1, power is what you have. Influence is what you do with what you have. Power is what you have. Influence is what you do with what you have. Number 2, power is inward focused. Influence is outward focused. Generally, power takes and influence gives. People who wield power with no regard for influence are generally selfish people. And the same is true whether it's financial power or intellectual power or political power or spiritual power. Number 3, power is dormant, but influence is dynamic. Power is dormant, it is static, it is rigid. But influence is dynamic, it's mobile, it's fluid, it's flexible. Number 4, power lives and dies with you. Influence, on the other hand, outlives you. Number 5, power is your capacity. And influence is what you fill that capacity with. Power is like an empty bucket. And influence is what you pour into and out of that bucket. How many of you would agree with me that a bucket that is filled with sand is not the same as a bucket that is filled with gold coins, for instance? Power is capacity. It's the empty bucket. Influence is what you pour in it and what you pour out of it. Power gives you the place to stand. Influence is the direction you choose to go from that place that you've been given. Number 6, power is bestowed or taken. Power, Jesus said, no man can receive anything except it be given to him from the Lord, from heaven. And some people seize power. They seize power in coups. Power is bestowed or taken. Influence, on the other hand, is earned. Influence is earned. Number 7, power helps you maintain your position. Influence takes you to greater heights from that position. People who have regard only for power do their best to protect their position. Now, if you look very closely, you will see that most, if not all of these 7 contrasts I've just given you are actually played out in the parable of the talent. So go back and read that story with these 7 contrasts in mind and see how true it is. Again, just to help you grasp this concept of power and influence and the dynamic and interplay between them, I want us to perform a little exercise this morning. For a moment, I want you to think back to your growing up days, especially if you can focus on your secondary school years. And I want you to remember the people who had power over you. Mark my words, people who had power over you. Your teachers, your parents, a school prefect, a school senior. People who had power over you. Can you think about them right now? Now, as you think about those people who had power over you, what kind of images come to mind? Truth be told, you're thinking of control, you're thinking of coercion, you're thinking of imposition, you're thinking of domination, you're thinking of abuse even. How many of you were abused by seniors in secondary school? Yeah, they did things to you physically and mentally that were just not right. All right, even teachers. So when you think about people who have power over you, it conjures negative feelings, negative emotions in your mind. Now think about people who influenced you in that same time frame. Your secondary school years, growing up. The people who influenced you. Again, think of teachers, parents, school seniors, prefects. The same kind of people or even exactly the same people. When you think about those who influenced you, what images come to mind? inspiration, example, support. There are some of my teachers way back from secondary school I'll never forget because they inspired me greatly. They did not bully me, they did not push me around, but they influenced me with their inspiration. So what are the corresponding feelings as you think of those who influenced you? You're thinking respect, admiration, appreciation. Am I talking this morning? So can you see the contrast between power and influence playing out in relationships? Here is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. In every relationship, in how many? In every relationship, there is always an interplay between power and influence. Power and influence are mixed up in every relationship in some kind of ratio, in some kind of percentage. If you think of the two of them as 100%, power carries a certain percent, influence carries a particular percent. If you think of your relationship with your boss at work, think of your relationship with the people who report to you at work. There is a power-influence interplay going on all the time. Sometimes power is engaged, sometimes influence is engaged. Now, when people respond to the power in a relationship, they do things because they have to. They do things because they have to. But when they respond to the influence in a relationship, they do things because they want to. They do things because they want to. Whenever power carries the majority in a relationship, whenever power carries the high percentage, it's played up heavily in a relationship, you will find that relationship is usually not a great relationship. It's not a successful one. It's not a strong or cordial relationship. But where influence carries the weight in a relationship, the relationship is usually very strong, very cordial, very successful. So this is the reality. Successful relationships are built not on influence, but on, not on power, but on influence. Did you get that? Successful relationships are built not on power, but on influence. Tell somebody for me, successful relationships are built not on power, but on influence. And you can apply it to any relationship, husband-wife relationship, parent-child relationship, teacher-student relationship, leader-follower relationship, even business relationships. Relationships that are built on power seldom succeed. Of course, from time to time, in every relationship, it is necessary to wield power. If you try to build a relationship with your young child only on influence, you will not succeed. Sometimes you need to wield power. But this should be the exception, not the rule. Tell your neighbor for me, turn your power into influence. Now, as you hear all these contrasts I'm making between power and influence, very easily you could conclude that power is a negative thing. And that is not true at all. Power in and of itself is not a negative thing. However, compared to influence, it is of inferior quality. And this is why you must never settle for just power. Rather than seek to be powerful, seek to be influential. Every time power is handed to you, quickly find a way to convert that power into influence. Tell your neighbor for me, don't settle for power when you can have influence. Turn your power into influence. Now, the truth is most people don't get it because you see, power is intoxicating. Power is alluring. It's addictive even. And so people get power and they want to hold on to the power. All right? Now, people who know how to convert power to influence never have to hold on to power. In fact, power looks for them. Are you following me? Power is obvious. It's loud. It's in your face. On the other hand, influence is subtle and quiet. And that's what makes influence very powerful. Now today, I'm going to give you 5 keys for increasing your influence. Because when you know how to increase your influence, you will know how to feed your power into your influence. So how many keys? 5 keys for increasing your influence. Number 1, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Timid, unsure, low self-esteem people are hardly ever influential. How you see yourself will determine how others see you. And this is the reality. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else believe in you, really? Believe in yourself. How do you see yourself? What is your esteem of yourself? What value do you place on your personhood? Numbers 13 verse 33. When those 10 spies came back, they said to Moses, they said, we saw the giants and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. Before they looked like grasshoppers before the enemy, they looked like grasshoppers in the mirror before themselves. Listen to what another version says. It says, next to them, we felt like grasshoppers, and that's what they thought too. One version says, they looked down on us as if we were grasshoppers. People look down on you because you look down on yourself. I promise you, nobody can belittle you without your permission. Nobody can belittle you without your permission. You will never become a person of influence if your entire life is screaming, I don't trust myself, please don't trust me. Of course, we know that you have faults. We know you have flaws. We know you have weaknesses. But the Bible tells me that God chooses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. He chooses the base things, the things that are despised, the things that are not, so that the things that are will not glory in his sight. And don't ever forget, God did not choose you because you are perfect. He chose you because he is perfect. John told us, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And so when you wake up in the morning, face the world with that understanding. Face the world with the understanding that in myself, I am nothing. But I have a big God on the inside of me. And if God believes in me, I can believe in myself. Don't be expecting to be a person of influence if you walk around looking timid and unsure. Have you heard people who say sorry 200 times for nothing? Have you met people like that? They want to make a comment. They have to say sorry before they make the comment. They want to ask a question. They say sorry. Why are you saying sorry? Stop apologizing. Believe in yourself. Square your shoulders. Lift up your chin. Put a spring in yourself and face the world with audacity. Are you listening to me? The world makes room for people who act like they know where they're going. Barack Obama will not be the president of America today if he went about apologizing for the color of his skin. He squared his shoulders and he said, I'm ready for you. I am ready to lead you. A nation of 300 million people. In a nation where once people of my color were slaves. Believe in yourself. Tell your neighbor for me, believe in yourself. Pastor Tayo, are you not encouraging people to be arrogant? No. There is a difference between arrogance and self-confidence. Arrogance says I'm right, everybody else is wrong, and I'm better than everybody. That's arrogance. Self-confidence says, I belong here because God has given me a place here. So how do I know if I believe in myself? How can you recognize self-confident, self-assured people? What are the indices you should look for in your own life that tell you whether or not you believe in yourself? Let me give you 5 things to look for. Number 1, your words. Listen to the words that are coming out of your mouth. Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Luke 6:45. The things you say about yourself, tell me what you think about yourself. It's as simple as that. Don't join people in trying to be modest and call yourself dumb, call yourself stupid. Stop saying things like that about yourself. It does not glorify God. It's an insult to God when you say those things about yourself. And it's an insult to you too. Hello? Self-confident people speak positively about themselves and about others. Have you seen people who cannot accept a compliment? You tell them you look nice to them. Say, oh, no. No, don't say that. You look nice. Yeah, I know. Thank you. I tried. I made an effort. That's why I look nice. I like your tie, Pastor. Yes, it's expensive. No. Seriously, have you seen people, you say, I like your tie. They say, oh, it's £5. Even if it were £5, don't say it. Jesus made bold, audacious, I am statements. 7 of them. because he had a robust sense of self-confidence. He said, I am the bread of life. John 6:48. He said, I am the light of the world. John 8:12. He said, I am the door of the sheep. John 10:7. He said, I'm the good shepherd. John 10:11. He said, I'm the resurrection and the life. John 11:25. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 14:6. He said, I am the true vine. John 15:1. I am. Do you have I am statements about you? And what kind of I am statements do you have? Do you go around saying, I'm poor, I'm weak, I'm dumb, I'm stupid? What are your I am statements? Listen to your own I am statements. They are an indication of whether you believe in yourself or not. And listen, I'm not just talking about the words you speak to people. You know, every one of us has conversations in their head. Listen to the conversations you have with yourself in your head. If they are negative, you need to do something about it. But it's not just what you say about yourself, it's about what you say about other people. People who gossip are hardly ever influential people. How many of you respect people who gossip all the time? You don't respect them because you think this is all this one does with his time. Just talk rubbish about other people. Just keep looking straight. They won't know I'm talking about you. Say words. Number 2, associations. The kind of people you associate with are an indication of what you think about yourself. It's as simple as that. How many of you group items in your home together? There are certain items that belong in the rubbish bin in the kitchen. You group them together. There are certain items that belong in the jewelry box in the bedroom. You group them together. The kind of people you group yourself together with are an indication how you see yourself. Are you hearing me? Ladies, if you keep dating men who are abusive, men who beat you, it seems like you are giving the world a message that you deserve to be abused. Can I talk to you today? They say, show me your friends and I will know who you are. Proverbs 13:20. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. If you surround yourself with fools, it means you think that you yourself are a fool. Watch your associations. Number 3, goals. Your goals. People who believe in themselves set great, lofty goals for themselves. In terms of education, career, ministry, and general life achievement. Don't ever be afraid to aim high. The Bible says the sovereign Lord is my strength, and he makes my feet like the feet of deers, and of the deer, and he takes me to the great heights. God wants you to take you to great heights in life. Are you listening to me? Tell your neighbor you belong in the high places. Set great goals for yourself. The kind of jobs you apply for say a lot about your self-esteem. That doesn't mean you shouldn't start small, but don't stay small. Everybody starts from the ground floor, but climb higher. Take steps to go to the next level. You know, a study was carried out a number of years ago, and it was discovered that a large percentage of employed people, if they were allowed to set their own salary, would pay themselves less than their employer pays them. What does that say about your self-esteem? What does that say about what you think about the quality of the work you do? Number 4, decisions. The quality of your decisions are a strong indicator of the quality of your self-esteem. People who don't think much of themselves make poor decisions, poor quality decisions all the time, especially when it comes to moral issues. In the wilderness, 3 times the devil propositioned Jesus, and 3 times Jesus said, I can't do that, I'm better than that. What you say yes to is a key to how you see yourself. And what you say no to is a key to how you see yourself. The 5 indicator of self-esteem, of people who believe in themselves, self-assurance and self-confidence, is your dressing. Believe it or not, your appearance is a key indicator of self-esteem. If you dress like a punk, don't expect to be treated like a prince. If you dress like trailer trash, don't expect to be treated like a princess. You say, oh, they're making catcalls and they're making comments at me. Look at what you're wearing too. But Pastor Ty, I want to look trendy. No, trendy is not the opposite of decent. Trendiness and indecency are not the same thing. You can be trendy and be decent. You know, I cannot wrap my head around women who leave their house wearing short dresses and then reach the road and they're pulling the thing down. Why? Why? You saw yourself in the mirror before you left the house. Leave the thing, let it jump up. That's what you wanted anyway. You wear a low-cut dress and then you get out and you're doing this. No. Just leave it. Let everything hang out. That's what you want to do. You want to show the world. I'm just saying. Don't be upset when people disrespect you if you have disrespected yourself with the way you dress. So one of the ways to increase your influence is to improve your self-esteem. And one of the ways to improve your self-esteem is to improve these 5 things I've given to you. Tell your neighbor, turn your power into influence. Believe in yourself. Number 2, build your character. Second way to increase your influence is to build your character. Ladies and gentlemen, influence and integrity go together. You cannot separate a person's character from their influence. People of poor character have little influence. People of strong character have great influence. You cannot separate a burning coal from the heat that it emits. You don't know where the coal ends and where the heat starts. That's the way it is with character and influence. You cannot divide them even with a thin knife. Remember, if people can't trust you, they will not let you influence them. Let me show you a passage in the Bible. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 28. Love and truth form a good leader. Love and truth form a good leader. Sound leadership is founded on loving integrity. Integrity is the foundation for strong leadership. Tell your neighbor, turn your power into influence. Build your character. Number 3, be passionate about your convictions. Stand up for what you believe and be willing to stand by it, whatever the cost. And I promise you, sometimes your convictions will cost you, because there will be someone who disagrees with you who will challenge your position, and you must be willing to stand by what you believe. Young people, listen to me today. Young people in the house, where are you? Listen to me now. You are never going to be a strong leader if your entire life you are trying to fit in. Leaders never fit in. They always stand out. Be ready to be different. Be willing to stand out. Be willing to stand alone, even if it will cost you the approval of your mates. Some of you are too focused on what people think or say about you that you cannot be difference makers. The Bible says in Daniel 1:8, Daniel proposed in his heart that he will not defile himself with the portion of the king's delicacies, nor with the wine which the king drank. Remember, he was not the only one. There were other Hebrew children. There were other slaves that were taken with Daniel into exile. And they gave all of them the same kind of food. And Daniel said, I'm not eating this. Now, can you imagine the reaction of the other young boys who were there at that time? They would look at him and say, who do you think you are? You think you are better than us? And he would say, I didn't say that. I'm not doing this. And that's what your mates challenge you with when you decide to be different. They say, do you think you are better than all of us? That's not my problem. You decide that for yourself. I'm not doing this. Others may, I can't. Stand for your convictions.
I trust that this message has enriched you and challenged you to be all that you can be. If you have any question, comment, or prayer request about what you have heard today, do not hesitate to contact me using the details on your screen, and I will be glad to serve you as best as I can. Also, if you happen to be in or visiting the London, Essex, or Kent area of the United Kingdom, we encourage you to come and worship with us at New Wine Church. All our service details are on your screen right now. Well, till the next time on Maximize Life, God bless you.